Welcome back to Delicious Stupidity. The cup of hot chocolate's now gone. Completely now. And what I wanted to chit-chat about today is, how are you feeling? Because if you're feeling terrified, and if you're feeling alone on that door floating in the middle of the North Atlantic, think of this, one of the last scenes from the Titanic. She was all alone. That one person that made her feel safe and connected had sunk to the bottom. It's okay if you feel terrified. And it's a real feeling if you feel like you're the only one in the situation. But I don't want you to feel alone. I don't want you to feel that you're isolated and that you're the only one on that door in the middle of the North Atlantic. So to start this chit chat, hit like, hit subscribe, and hit share. And that way, in that little way, you're not alone. You can come and listen to me rant and rave and nag about the things that I'm seeing or what's frustrating me, and you can feel that you're not the only one that feels terrified, that feels like you're drowning with everything that's overwhelming. Whether it's, I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills, and if you're in the States right now, and I'm working for the military, I'm working for the government, am I going to have a job tomorrow? Or you're here in Canada, or you're in UK, and you just feel everything's overwhelming because you don't know what's coming, and it's terrifying. Those are real feelings. Come here, listen to me rant and rave, listen to my Canadian companies videos. Maybe I can put a smile on your face and you won't feel so alone. And this whole video started last night because I was curled up on the couch with the coffee and I was reading news and watching videos and getting more and more and more terrified. It doesn't help that I'm a history buff, and the similarities between what's going on right now and World War I, pre-World War I, so we're talking the dirty 30s and the tail end of the 20s, it is, for me, because I taught it, is more terrifying because I can see the comparisons. Everybody goes, oh, this is just like Hitler, but those of us who are really into history can see how much it is. And it's not just Hitler. There's other people like that we can connect with because we are history buffs. And I was sitting there feeling terrified and honest in gut terrified. And my son walked through. And I looked at him and said, buddy, I got a stupid question. Only because I'm not sure what the answer is. I said, are you as terrified of what is going on in this world right now as I am? And he looked at me and went, oh God, yeah, Mom. Yes. He said, every time I open something and every time I read it, and he's not as big a history buff as I am, he said, it's terrifying. It's overwhelming. I feel like I've got no control over anything. And he said, and yet I've got control over my own little world. He said, but yeah, it is. And then he started showing off a couple of websites that he goes to that are independent journalists. And he said his generation tends to go to independent journalists more than they go to the CNN or NBC or CBC or CTV. He said, just because he said we're more connected to social media and the internet. And one of his under the desk, and she's an independent journalist. And he said, when I listen to her, knowing she's as neutral as she's going to get, or Aaron Parmas, I believe that's his last name, or Midas Touch, and those last two are lawyers out of the States. He said, I listen to them and listen to what's happening to the States and what the federal government's doing, and the federal government's doing things that all of us believe our governments can't do. We don't believe they wouldn't do it. We believe they can't do it. And yet, this big economic powerhouse and a big military powerhouse is doing it. He said it is terrifying. It is absolutely overwhelmingly terrifying. And I said, okay, so I'm not the only one in the boat. He went, no. He said everybody he talks to in his generation are feeling the same thing. So that's what today's chit chat is. Not super long, but I don't want to feel like I'm floating on that proverbial door in the middle of the North Atlantic. And this helps. Talking to my kid helps. So what I'm saying is, back to how to deal with stress, acknowledge that those feelings are real, that it is okay. You have a legitimate reason for being terrified. And it doesn't matter if you're 20, if you're 40, if you're 60 or you're 80. If you're 80, you've worked your life to get to the point where if you had to retire, you could retire, or you want to retire, and that you're secure. You're financially secure. And now the world is so upside down and backwards, you as an 80-year-old or an 88-year-old or whatever, you're not even sure that it's secure. So what I want to say is acknowledge that. Those feelings are very real. But don't spend your whole life focusing on, oh my God. Make a plan and then get active. So take that symbolic door floating in the middle of the North Atlantic and find some other people who are going to make you feel good. They're going to acknowledge the terror. They're going to acknowledge that, yes, those feelings are right, those feelings are correct, but let's do stuff about it. What can we do that's going to make us feel better? That's going to help make us feel like we can survive this, and build a boat so you can survive. And then do things together as a group. Don't try and beat this, and don't try and be this, strong, I can do this by myself, independent person. We need to work together. So, example, Canadians are doing right now, Donald Trump threatens us with the 51st state and tariffs and all the rest of that crap, and we all went, you, and all of us, every time I turn around, oh no, I'm not buying that, I'm not buying that, I'm not buying that, it's American, it's American, it's American. Mine is, buy Mexican, buy European, buy Chinese, buy Japanese. Send the message loud and clear, and we're already doing that, we're all working together. But for your mental health, find somebody you can go out and have a cup of coffee with, or a cup of tea with, that you can work emotionally together to make yourself feel like you've got a boat to be in and that you're not going to drown. And talk to people about how you might be struggling, just mental health wise or financially wise. You're not expecting anybody to solve it. You can't. I can sit here and say, okay, I got my last hydro bill for January, went, and my tenant was in the kitchen at the time, and he said, Bev, what's up? And I turned and showed it to him. It was over $200 for January, and never in my life of living in this house have I spent $200 on hydro a month, ever. And I don't suddenly have 5 or 6 extra people. But all of a sudden, the prices have gone up, and I $200. I just stood on it. And we just both looked at each other, oh my God. He can't solve the problem. He pays his rent. He does his thing. He does what's legally obliged by him to do. But we both could hurt. We both could acknowledge that, ouch, this hurts. Same thing with food. Same thing with anything. It's okay to get together with people and share a cup of coffee, cup of tea, and not gaslight and blame. I'll just use him because he's there, Trump's fault that the prices have gone up. but we can at least together make each other feel like we're not in this alone. Okay? Hair in my mouth. That we can see that we are going to get through this together, holding hand in hand, figuratively speaking, and we can make it. And then come up with some plans on how you can do it. Like in that specific thing. Getting together with people that are feeling the same. That's going to be that first plan, because now you're not alone. You're terrified, he's terrified. We got a group of people here all terrified because of what's going on. But at least you know you're not alone. You know that there's other people who are just as scared, and it makes it okay that you're scared. It makes it okay for you to have those feelings, to say that this is terrifying. It's like being on the road during a snow blizzard. Acknowledge the fact that everybody else and every other car that's around you, they're feeling the exact same thing, because driving in a snow blizzard is terrifying. Then you can take the next plan. You're all terrified on this. What can we do if you're scared about financials? What can you do that are going to help with the financials? If you're just feeling lonely, like your finances are fine, you know you're secure, you got your household is bringing in enough, you're in a situation where you're not going to worry about losing your job, then maybe taking care of that feeling of terror is, let's get together and have a cup of coffee at the local cafe or the local pub for my British friends. Do things that are going to help you feel better and take care of your mental health. Even if it's, and this was an old student of mine in England who kept sending me, she fought with depression and anxiety, and she kept sending me videos that all reinforced that whole concept about the world is terrible, oh my God, everything is bad, you know, I can't do this and I can't do that. And she kept sending me pictures of all of her guinea pigs that had passed away. And I went, sweet girl, stop it now. And she went, well, why? I said, because all it's doing is bringing you down. I know you miss your guinea pigs. She loves guinea pigs. I said, I want you to start sending me pictures of cute little puppies. And she said, why? I said, send me pictures of cute little puppies and make me feel good. And she did. And all of a sudden, she was feeling better because she was looking at things that made her smile. So that's my point, or my story, or my chat today, is step one. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit share, to make you feel like you're part of this community. Step two, acknowledge the fact that you are terrified and you have all the right to feel like you're being terrified and the world is falling apart. You do, 100%. Step three, find people to build that boat together with, even if it's just going out for a cup of coffee. Step four, make a plan, not just to find those people you can hang out with that are going to make you feel a little bit better, but also if you have a specific, like, I don't know that I'm going to have enough money to pay for my hydro, or I can't shovel the driveway, or whatever, come up with a plan on how you're going to deal with it. So there are ways, but just drowning in that feeling isn't going to make it better. We can't turn around the war in Ukraine. We can't, as individuals, fix the problems in Gaza or Syria. We definitely can't fix the problems in the U.S. All you can do is support actions that will reinforce it, but you can do things that can support right here, right now. And as far as the other ones are concerned, just in Canada, just vote for those people that you know that are going to support the way you think it should be dealt with. There we go. Stand tall, stand straight, have faith, and find somebody to build the boat with so you don't feel like you're in this storm of the North Atlantic all by yourself. Take care, guys. See you next time.